Hi everyone, happy Friday. So we are on part 10 of our coloring book collection, and after today, will be almost through our my main bookcase, which is any books that I have by more than one book by an author. I do have like half to three-quarters of a shelf of just one-off books that we'll be covering next. Hang on, got stuff wrapped around the mic. There we go. So this is my coloring book collection and completed pages. This one is going to be hopefully not too much longer than my typical ones, but my Jade Summer stack is very substantial. I have been collecting their books for a number of years, and it was so, like, I knew if I didn't do this, I would have to split this into two videos, but like I went ahead and destashed prior to this and actually took out a pretty sizable chunk. There are some completed pages in there. What I'm going to do is remove those pages and put them together in a binder that then I can show at the end for, like, you know, completed pages. Here's some of the books that y'all didn't see kind of thing. So today we are covering R's and S's, Jen Racine, Kirby Rosanes, Riac, and then Jade Summer, as I said. Yeah, and anything else to mention? So the Jade Summer books, we're going to start first because that's the way I set up the stack. One thing I will caution about the Jade Summer books is because they've been around for a number of years, there are a number of their books that are out of print. They might be available digital, they might not be. Their Amazon account was taken down at one point and then reopened, but then they had to repost a number of books, and I think maybe at some point they made a decision not to put some of the books out there. I know of one book in particular that I think got them in trouble with Amazon, and is one of the reasons they had to take it down, that I'm going to show you today. But just keep in mind that a lot of the Jade Summer books may be out of print, and I hate that, but they are part of my collection, and it's one of the reasons I'm keeping them. So now I'm not showing color by number books yet, however, because I take that back, I have other color by number Jade Summer books, don't I? We're just going to keep this with Jade Summer instead of trying to put it on the other side. This is our color by number animals. And I have done a number in here. Of course, seeing the books today, I'm immediately wanting to do more in them. I did this for Foxy February, and then did this one a couple months back too. This is by far my favorite color by number book they've come out with. I like the style of it, I like the colors. Baby Dragons. This is a older Jade Summer book that Tammy and I are just about through. We have one more picture that I'm going to do this month. I'm saying it right now. I'm going to do it. This is 2 sets of 25 images. Now, a lot of Jade Summer's older books do have that too, so also keep that in mind. I'll note it where possible. If you're having trouble finding any of the books, let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to look and see if I can find it. But if it looks like it's out of print, then, you know, obviously there's nothing I can do. The only thing I would suggest is contacting Jade Summer and seeing if they will reinstate the book. It may be the artist they're working with, they can no longer print the book. There's probably a number of reasons for that. Because for those of you who don't know, Jade Summer isn't a artist, it is a publishing company, and they do employ artists to do their work and publish under their name. Recently they have started adding the artist names, the illustrations and everything on their books, which I'm thrilled that they're doing, but they used to not do that. And then for a brief period of time, Alexander Franzese and Joshua Dunbar also printed under Jade Summer, so that's why when I was showing you their collection, some of them had Jade Summer on them. Those are the books I know of that are theirs. If there are others that come up, I can definitely note it as we go along. And we're not even touching digital books today because we're going to save that for future. So yeah, this is like 2018. This was us coordinating which books we had and which books we didn't. So I've got a lot of completed pages to show in here. And then you'll probably see a final flip through of this when I do my, when I finish the page. And doing one set of 25, I'm considering this a completed book. Because an average coloring book size is 25 to 30 images anyway. Forgot I added a little bit of pencil to that in some spots. That was one of the first pictures I did with marker using Cali art markers, and to this day I still love it. I love the colors. This was one where I went very heavy on Prismacolors, and you can tell because it kind of washes out, fades out the lines. I think this one I was trying to use gold paint, which did okay. I was also trying to play around with, you know, highlighting around him with the marker. Meh. This has been a book I've played around a bunch with some different stuff. And some of them have just been regular marker pictures. And that's okay too. This to this day is still one of my favorites. If I do a wall of my favorite pictures, which is what I want to do, I'm going to cut this one out and frame it. It was marker and then Crayola pencil, I think. One of the rare ones that I did that I felt like the Crayola pencil did a really good job. So bunch of stickles on his gold pile. This was a vintage Christmas color theme I used for that palette. I'm actually quite proud of the number of images I have in here. I actually really love this palette, and I'm normally not a pink person, but I really like this one. I'm actually really proud with the number of pages I had in here that had some pencil in them. I didn't realize I had so many. That one was wild. Did not turn out quite how I planned, but you know, again, this was a playing around kind of page. And then my pastel robot. I like this palette a lot too. I think I used some type of iridescent paint on him. And this is the last one to do. So, and then like I said, there's another set of 25. I will probably find someone who wants that. So I'm going to be showing this in its entirety during my new book flip throughs, which will probably be Wednesday. But Jade Summer released Comfy and Cozy, and the cover looks like this. And I just wanted to show you the differences. This was the original release with the thinner line art, and then they re-released it. I think they added some images, but they added some thicker line art, which I wouldn't normally do this, you know, buy a new version of the book, but I really do like thicker line art, so I was willing to do it for this one. But this, don't make this a habit. Wag, wag, wag. Wag that finger. So I'll be destashing that one, but did want to show you. So this is the newest one. It has the darker line art. It has the lighter cover. It might have some new images. Check the Amazon page and others to make sure. But I appreciate that they did that, but I'm also like, it's hard because a lot of the artists I like are revisiting some of their older books, refinishing them, making them darker line art, adding black backgrounds like with R.J. Hampson, and I don't necessarily mind it, but it's also like, and it's hard because I do like the newer books and I want to get those, right? But if I've colored substantially in a book, I may not necessarily buy the new version because it's just duplication and I have enough problems buying too many new books. So Cute Christmas, I am pretty sure this one is out of print, which is a shame. That was one I think I used, whichever pencils I used I did not like, and they have faded quite a bit over time. I was not particularly thrilled with them. It was a marker base and then pencil. You'll find what's interesting is I don't like coloring Christmas as much. I don't like coloring mermaids as much, but you will find both mermaid books and Christmas books in my Jade Summer collection. Christmas Coloring Book Volume 2. I'm pretty sure these are not duplicative images. I love how this page turned out, but I used the original Arteza Everblends, and boy did they yellow. Which stinks, because I really like this picture. You can see how bad they yellowed. Bane of my existence. And these are a nice intermix of older and newer books. So this is a newer book, Stress Relief. You can really kind of tell the difference in the covers. Really like that picture. Tiny Animals. I do appreciate there are black background ones in this one. These are really cute. Kawaii Town. Now, this is one I did make an exception on. Sorry, let me play around with the light. There we go. Sorry it was so dark. There we go, that's a little better. The line art isn't as thick for this, which given the level of detail, I can understand. I'm trying to figure out like how I would approach these. Sorry, a bunch of them are. I need to buy probably another set of Tao Tree markers. They're the thinner set markers. Those would probably be better suited for this book. I don't know. I'm torn on that one. Magical Mermaids. Like I said, usually not big on mermaids, but I love the style of these. Cute Witches. There's a grayscale version of this and a line art version. And usually I prefer grayscale. However, on this one, I like the line art a little better. And it does have 2 sets of 25, as you saw. There was one. I did some blending with Arteza markers. Big shocker. See, you can see they were really good markers when I had them and I was using them. I liked them. The good thing is this is 2 sets of 25. I'm not stressing as much about this one because I have and that was the one I did for Maggie when he passed away. Kawaii Christmas. Looks like 2 sets of 25, and I happen to be hitting all the ones. Lazy Animals. And now it feels like it's gotten too bright again. What is going on here? There we go. Looks like 2 sets of 25. I really liked the little lamb here with the bed head. Oh, I forgot I'd done one in here. I think I did him for Foxy February, probably. Cute Fairies. This is Grayscale. Their grayscale has been very interesting over the years. Sometimes it's dark light grayscale, sometimes it's light grayscale. There's one I did there. But I might have another one in here, but maybe not. I have not colored a lot of grayscale in a hot minute. I probably should get back to that. Mermaids, Grayscale coloring book. They have an interesting setup when it comes to mermaids. You have more adult type mermaids, and then in this one I'll show you in a minute, you have more like chibi style mermaids. Now this one has a different cover now, but if it's still in print. So now they have like, so I think Magnificent Mermaids is the other one. Then they have Mermaids, like Mermaids. Then they have Mermaid. I don't know what's still in print. I don't know what's not. That was an old challenge that once upon a time I did. Oh, I think that one page I was playing around with water mediums. I was treating the paper and trying some different stuff. If you're wondering why that looked so crazy. Fairies Grayscale. Now this one I know is out of print. I think this Alice in Wonderland is a very difficult thing for coloring book artists to do any coloring in regards to. They have to be very careful how they name the book and stuff. I think there's still like a copyright thing with it. And so I think this ultimately is not available, which is a shame because it is a really good book. But I understand why. I think this is 2 sets of 25. Stuffed animals. This is 2 sets of 25. I know because I borked up one of these images and I was mad, and then I realized I have another copy. As one of the benefits to, I think, especially if you're starting out coloring, I think it's beneficial to have 2 sets of 25, because if you do mess something up like this one, I was doing fine till I got there and it looks like he's been bathing in the blood of his enemies, and I just don't know why I picked red for that. This is actually a very cute book. Have this one. This is a long abandoned whip that I guess I should get back to. I've actually done quite a few in this. You know, for years I've been like, I haven't seen a lot of fading, but here in just the last couple years I've noticed that some of these pages have started to fade a little bit, which is a shame. Thought I had one more. I thought I'd done that one, but it doesn't look like it. I really thought about doing it at one point. Anyway, but I guess the beauty again of having 25 images is if I want, I could redo a picture now and maybe it wouldn't fade as much. I've noticed in particular any of the books that I use permanent markers in, like Bic Intensity or anything like that, those do tend to want to fade a little more. I guess because the alcohol content in them after, I mean, it's been 7 years, 5 to 7 years for some of these pictures. So at some point, I expect them to fade, right? Like it's not that big a surprise. Chibi Girls, I think this one is probably, this is the 2-in-1. I think this is the way it is now, if this one is still available. It used to be there was a Chibi Girls 1 and a Chibi Girls 2, but then they combined the books and took out the extra duplicative 25. The cover may be different. I would be surprised if this one isn't available, because when I say if there was any book of Jade Summers that I feel like I've seen more pictures posted in, more pages colored, more book completions, I would say it was probably this one. Either the Grayscale version, usually the Grayscale version. I think this is where they hit their sweet spot with Grayscale. I've seen a lot of people complete this book over the years. I hate summer. I hate summer. Gnats and humidity and rain, and I really like this picture. I've forgotten this one was in here. It's crazy. You get, as time goes on, Fantasy Kids. Yes, we are still on Jade Summer. I don't even know if this one's in print anymore, but I feel like this one was a slept on. Like if I had to pick a book of Jade Summers that I feel like not a lot of people really showed the interest in. And it could be like the characters are very well detailed and like the background's not so much. That's not the case in every picture. I don't know. I just felt like these were really cute pictures. And I was surprised this one didn't do better. But I love fantasy books, so Kawaii Grayscale coloring book. Yeah, I think I'm going to drag some of these Kawaii books, Grayscale books into, that one's held up well, into the living room, because the cool thing about Grayscale is, the coolest thing about Grayscale, if it's done right, is it does all the shading for you. See, this is where, this was the real sweet spot for Grayscale in my opinion. Just the right mix of darker Grayscale and lighter Grayscale. But I think I'm going to take some of these in there because these are really easy, like straight colors, because the Grayscale's doing all the work for you. And these poor things have lamented on my bookshelf. I mean, I still love this picture. It's something about pirates. I don't know. Like, yeah, Jack Sparrow and all that. But, like, I love pirate pictures, even with girl characters. I think, too, this is still one of my favorite pictures because of the coloring and how it turned out. I have another one that I love, that I did early on, that was a pirate picture. And so I'm just really drawn to those. I don't think this is 2 sets of 25. Doesn't look like it. Kawaii Horror Grayscale. That's why I'm saying they're Grayscale over 2 or 3 years that all these got printed. I think it just took them a while to find it. And there's nothing wrong with this Grayscale either. You just have to be very cognizant of the dark colors that you use. stick with lighter colors and brighter colors. And this is 2 sets of 25. I've had a lot of these books a long time, and yeah, it's taken me a while to get back to them, but when I tell y'all, like, these are not going anywhere. So there is my girl with her kitty, and he is supposed to be very sparkly. I got a little aggressive with the stickles there around him, but he is nothing if not sparkling. And Country Cats. I also think this book, even though the line art is thin, if you like cats, and this one's still available. Ooh, that one's not good. If, if that kind of thing bothers you. But if you like realistic looking cats, and they still have this one available. Now the line art is thin. I love that one where they are zoning in on that fish. I love that. Little Christmas sweaters. Oh, 2 sets 25 on this, which is probably good because with it being such thin line art, I probably want that extra. Aww. I have done one in this one, and I actually am really proud of this one. I did this one using Copics, and I thought he turned out so cute. I even colored, there was a spider in the picture, and I even colored it, guys. Like, be proud of me there. Costume Cats. This was one I was actually trying to also get close to completion, and then I kind of abandoned it. And maybe one day I'll come back, but you'll kind of see why. So I love the premise of this. The cats and the costumes. But one of the things, again, with early Jade Summer books, you saw it with the Baby Dragons one, is the characters look really good, but the backgrounds are very plain. And I know not everybody wants complicated backgrounds, and so maybe this is more your jam, but for me the backgrounds were just too simple. Like, I'm really interested in coloring the cat, and then the background's just kind of like meh, you know? Like this one, I just enjoyed the cat. The background, just kind of slapped it on there. Tried some marker texturizing there. Don't know how I feel about that. It's a mix of alcohol markers, permanent markers, and even some water-based markers in here. But I think that's what happened, is I got kind of discouraged because I like the cats, but the backgrounds just feel very plain. Like that one right there. Okay. I know I have more colored. There's one in particular that might be one of my favorite pictures. Where is she? There she is. My Madam Kitty, where I played around actually with, you know, adding in some pencil shading and did like her lace a little bit different, and I just thought this one turned out super fun. So like this one was okay, but yeah, I mean, I'll finish it one day. It's just, I love the cats in it, and I love the fact that the cats are obviously wearing outfits, but like just the backgrounds, it's not super motivating. The Baby Dragons one is kind of the same way, but it's just a tiny bit more balanced. But that was very early Jade Summer. Like, we're talking 2018. Yeah. So you can see how much things have changed over the years. Chibi Horror. And I think a lot of these grayscales were right around 2020, 2021. If you're just kind of looking for a reference of their evolution. Now, whoever did all these chibi books and the kawaii horror books, because they all have, in the kawaii books, because they all have a very similar feel to them. I don't know to this day who is the artist for these. I would love to know. It's a shame they can't get them back. Or whatever be the case there. Because I think these were some of their best selling books, honestly. Like, that one turned out super fun. These are darker. You can see the yellow one though. You can see, the one thing I'll say for the Artezas, the Everblend, I'll go back to those in a minute. I think I see this one done a lot too. So these are dark grayscale. One of the things I'll say for the Arteza Everblend markers, I don't know about the new ones, but the reason I like the other ones so well was because of their neutrals, their browns, their oranges, their orange browns, and of course those are the ones that want to yellow the most. So that's probably why so many of mine end up yellowing so much, because those are the colors I use. And I think this one is not a 2 set of 25, so, or 24. Maybe it's 24 instead of 25. But yeah, no, I had a ton of fun with her. And I thought I'd used art. I did. You can see it yellowing a little bit there. But see, look at the difference. Like, it's really only around where I used the oranges. Everything else I stuck to non-browns, and there's not as much there either. Not as many browns and oranges in this one, and you can really tell the difference, because that was really what caused the yellowing. I keep this one. I am not you're not going to find this one. I keep this one because this was one of the very first coloring books I purchased. It's probably one of the reasons I'm still very much a fan of Jade Summer through controversy and lots of things. Overall, I still am a fan of theirs. I feel I like the direction they've went in, and I like what they're doing right now, but they were one of my first coloring book purchases, so I do feel a bit nostalgic about them. This book is probably, I don't know if this is stock photography or not. This was 2017, pre-digital copy. Yeah, I don't think they make that available anymore. So I don't know if these were stock images, but like I said, this was very early on in coloring book days, so I don't necessarily fault them for that. It is Zendoodle or Zentangle. You don't see me do these very much, but again, I keep this mostly for nostalgic purposes. I also do have a couple pages I've done in here. Hopefully I kept one. Yeah, he was one of the very first images I did, trying like, I think permanent markers and then pencil. I even tried a little bit of like baby oil or something right there. Just playing with colors. I think I cut one out to play with pencil, or I made a copy of an image or something. See, we're 40 minutes in. We ain't out of the Jade Summer books yet. This is what I was telling y'all. Dark Fantasy. This is one of their newer books. I like the little mini images in the back. Whoop. Now this book, I'm a little torn on because this is one of the books that I feel like it should have been a lot darker in the back, but it's not. I don't know if that is a printing reason. Like maybe the place that printed this book didn't get the black background as crisp as they should, or if it was supposed to be like this. If anybody else has this book, can you let me know? Like, does your black background and like right here look super crispy and dark and just punchy, or is it more of a dark gray like this? So I don't know if it's worth buying another one if I'm just going to wind up with the same thing. Now, see, that's where I'm like, that dark fantasy, light fantasy combo book I had. Did I show that, or did I say I was getting rid of that one? I don't remember showing y'all that one. Oh, it's down here. Okay. Cute cats. I remember Anne from Anne's Colorful Life. I don't know if she's renamed her channel since then. I remember coloring a picture. So there's 2 sets of 24 in here. Coloring this to look like her cat Kimchi. And I remember sending it to her in a little frame. Well, that was where they were splitting the Oh no, I made a copy of it on like marker paper and did it. And there I was starting with some sort of watercolor pencil back there, which I wish I knew what it was because it didn't really warp the paper. And that's something else too. Like, it is interesting to me how you can look at this and then look at one of these. Let me find one without. Okay, these back here are a good sign. You can see the ghosting right here. And like these pages, you can't see the other page behind it at all. Now, part of that might be the black backing. But I also think even without the black backing, this was thicker paper back in the day. So it's really interesting when you see me. That's a lot of times when I'm coloring in books and they're older books, I'm like, you know, hey, the paper quality may have changed. Just a heads up. They used to do black backing in their books. That was causing, which I like that they did. However, for a lot of people, it was causing their books to curl the way Amazon was printing them. And so they eventually stopped. And that's cool. I mean, I'm okay either way, I guess. But it is interesting to me how different, how much easier it is to see the pages behind you. Okay, Christmas Countdown coloring book. This was another coloring book countdown I started last year. Oh no. Did I really do that? No, I started the second set. I'm okay. So there's 2 sets of countdown images in here. And I was doing so well until I got to like, it's usually around day 12, 13, 14 that I start losing it. So here's the first set of 25 that's not colored. They are slightly different. So you could do different ones each year. I wanted to start with the one with the cat. I really like the stencil I used there. And see, I was being creative. I was having a lot of fun with these. I think one of these got, it might have been the snowman, was the page of the day for Jade Summer, which I've been trying to do for 6 years on their Facebook page. Or maybe it was a gingerbread house. I can't remember. I ended up skipping day 8. I did another stencil in the background there, which I liked. No. I'll show you which one it was. I like 12 a lot. It was 13. 13 got page of the day. I remember that. I was so proud of myself, and then I just abandoned it. Well, I come back. And I started 18. So I was doing opposite red and green. So I figured I could go ahead and at least color in the 18. And then I did 19 with some stickles and marker. And then I was like, nah, okay. So we're going to try to finish this year. I'm not going to try to start any new advent calendar for Christmas. We're just going to try to finish what I started last year. Alright, light and dark fantasy. So this is where I wonder if this book is still in print and still available, because this one is actually called Dark Fantasy, and these used to be 2 books, so it's very confusing. I know. But this, I would love to get another copy of this, and I'm afraid I'm stuck with what I've got because there are no duplicates in here, and I've already had some yellowing happen. So I'm going to go on there and see. But the thing I will say is that the artist that Jade Summer has had to do, and see, this was another one. Arteeza's Everblends were really great with like red, like just muted dark oranges and yellows and stuff like that. But oh, look at that. Just makes me sick. Makes me sick. And it's like you can, and see, it happened here too. It's not like you can just take it out after a while and it'll get better. No, it's, once it's there, it's, you have to keep pages in there forever. I've done a number in here. Like, geez, where do we get to the light fantasy here? These have a line art version too. Back then I leaned more towards Grayscale. I think these days I probably would lean more towards... Now, I've seen a lot of people completing pictures out of this book too. I think there was one I took out of this one actually, and I don't know why I cut it out. Who knows? Who knows? But I might see if they still have this one, because I'd like to get another copy and take another crack at it. Oh, there's another picture in here. I like to take another crack at it, because some of the stuff has faded a bit, and I really do like this book, but I have a feeling they don't have this one anymore. Alright, we are done with Jade Summer. This is why I destashed, because, oops, sorry, I hit the mic. I probably had another third set of books to show y'all. Chris Riac, I do have 2 of his books. Morning Scribbles, coloring book number 3. These are very cute. I do like the sizes of these images. This is one of those, I feel like if I get started on it, I could do like a page a day. This was actually the first one I got of his, which is the Halloween one. Because y'all know how much I love Halloween. Now, this might be a good one. I still have the Coco Wyo Halloween Advent Calendar to work on, but this might be a good one to work on alongside that, to do a picture a day. Alright, Kirby Rosanes. Anamorphia. There's some pictures in here. Weirdly, once I did, well, not weirdly, but now this is one of his early books that has a lot of the little animals and doodads in here. This book also has pages where you can complete like your own images. I don't know how I feel about that. And of course, those are the ones I constantly show y'all. I was really intimidated by these, and then I started, these were ones where I really kind of started embracing like a blocky kind of coloring where I don't fill in every little creature and animal with a different color because it would take forever. Now, have I done one in this book? Yes. So this is an example I can show y'all. I did this one, I think, for Foxy February last year, the year before, and I used, I think, black paint in the background. I might have used blue. Gelatos worked really good as like a base in here. You'll actually see me using gelatos this weekend in my Sunday video because, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But I used gelatos as a base and then came in and shaded with blue. Like I said, not trying to do everything, all these different little colors, just filling in, you know, with that, making him kind of a white fox and an Arctic fox, and then giving him kind of some Aurora Borealis thing going on in the background. So imagine Morphia. This was the one I did the first year I did Foxy February. And I actually had to put some clear tape down the middle because the one thing about Kirby books is that they will fall, I guess they're glue bound and they fall apart very easily. As one biggest critique I have about Kirby books is they are, I guess, not stitched, they're glued, and thus if you want to use a lot of water and stuff like that, you'll start, and there's some people that they haven't even used water and they've started losing pages. But again, a very similar setup. I think I used Sergeant Art watercolor crayons for the top part here. I have my blue blobs that didn't really do what I wanted them to do. Don't recommend those, but then I used gelatos for him, and while I love the colors, I feel like I could have sectioned it a little better. But again, that Arctic fox I just showed you was the year after, so it kind of shows you, I guess, a little bit how I grew in coloring, though I do love the bright green alien fox kind of thing I got going on there. But yeah, no, I had to put clear tape down there to keep the pages together. One thing I do like about Kirby's books is that his shading is already in there, so oftentimes if I can get my base layer in there and come in with pencils, a lot of the shading's already done for me. So it's not as much work as it looks initially, as long as I don't get lost in the chaos. So all these little bits and pieces, as long as I don't get entirely lost in those and feel like I've got to make everything its own separate color, these are doable. Now, will I ever have a point in the future that I do the individual little bits and pieces? Sure, I might. But it's probably not going to be a very consistent thing. It might just be one big project I decide to do and then never do again. Worlds within worlds. But I've colored enough in these now that I feel like I feel comfortable coloring in them. I'm limited on time. I want to keep them. I'm not going to destash them. I actually had a really cool idea for this one to make him kind of like an alien sloth, and to make this like more of a galaxy kind of look in the background. I kept thinking it in my head and I just couldn't fully complete out the picture like I wanted it to be. So I know there's at least one other picture. There it is. And I used King Art gel sticks, some Renaissance metallic watercolors. You can kind of see them, hopefully. Some gel pens and then some shading with colored pencils on that one. I think I tried using Neocolor 2s here and it went very much a disaster. So I'm going to try to probably just black out these areas here, I think. Oh wait, it might be in one of these other books. I know I did a cover or an intro page. Hang on. Oh, it was Anamorphia. I did the title page here with some different pencils. I was sitting here like, now I know I did at least one of them. Alien Worlds. Now, I am a bit intimidated by this one, to be sure. God, you can't even see it. These books are so wide, it's hard to fit in the camera. But yeah, I like how he's sitting there just kicking his feet. Again, I think wide swaths of color with like punchy colors, mind you. They're not, you know, all fading in the background, but his books, the only way I'm going to keep from getting overwhelmed is to not get caught up in the details. Why do I have 2 copies of Mythomorphia? Why do I have 2 copies of Mythomorphia? Because I tried to play in one and I wrecked it. Okay. That's fair. It's using those Neocolor 2s. I tell you what, the biggest problem I've had is, I think the biggest failures I've had is trying to use Neocolor 2s for a background because they just never do what I want them to do on their own. Mythomorphia. Because what I want them to do is to meld together and move around on the paper. And what they're not going to do on any paper that's not watercolor paper or watercolor treated, alluding to Sunday's demo for Watercolor Summer. If it's not watercolor paper or it's not treated paper to make it like watercolor paper, it's not gonna move around. So then you wind up with blotchiness. And I've seen some people make it work. Like I've seen somebody do a amazing galaxy background here using Neocolors, and I don't think they treated it, but for me it's just not gonna work. Like I've tried and tried, and I've messed up a Joanna Bastard book, I've messed up Mythomorphia, I've messed up a number of books. You saw it in the other one. So like I was getting the blobs again, and I wasn't happy about it. Now looking back at it, I also think part of my problem is I'm expecting smoothness when this is not going to give me smoothness, because it's watercolor. It's not going to give me smoothness. Now if I just straight paint on from a palette, it looks pretty good. It's like I have almost an entire Mythomorphia book. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't normally keep duplicates, but there are a few exceptions. Mythic World. These are really tough for me because when I look at these, I do get inspired, but I also just get exhausted at the mere idea of trying to do one of these pages. But I just love the art, and I can't I can't bring myself to just say, okay, I'm not going to color Kirby Rosanes because I know better than that. So I'm going to keep them. I think it's going to be one of those things I'll do the best I can do, and maybe one day the opportunity will arise where I can finally put in significant time and investment in coloring. You know, maybe things will get easier and life will get easier, and so I save these for times when life will get easier. Or, you know, it may come a day where I look at them and I'm truly like, I'm never going to color in these, and I'm ready to let them go. And that's okay. Sometimes you collect things and you love them, and they may not be useful. They may not be something that you're using right now. They may not be something that, and that speaks for a lot of my coloring book collection. Well, I'll talk to that at the end. Fragile World. Now, this one I feel like is possibly more doable simply because it's not as detailed. Like, maybe I could start in this one and then work my way into the other ones is kind of what I'm thinking. That might be the route to go. Alright, yeah, I know we're already at the hour mark. Jen Racine, we're going to wrap up with her. I love her art. Again, I just don't get into it as much as I should. But I love pretty much every book she puts out. I think I have a number of them. I don't know if I've taken them off my list until I do more in her books. Again, that's kind of the problem. We know that's a problem of mine. Birds and Flowers. This is neat because it's more of like a pocket-sized book. And it is a very simple, just birds and flowers. I thought that this might be a good mindful, like if I could get in the daily habit of doing quick coloring at my desk for 10 to, you know, half an hour if I want to add in some pastel pencil or something like that. She also has some mindful moment books. Hello Retro Christmas. This is a 10-minute mental health moment coloring book. This is more of a smaller square type book. Again, this might possibly be a good book to use for like an advent calendar, a countdown to Christmas, if you will. I feel like with that Christmas countdown book I did last year, I colored more Christmas than I think I have in any of the 7 years I've been coloring. So hopefully this year will be the same. Hello Beautiful Fall. And Hello Gorgeous Animal Portraits. I promise you, if you put animals in human clothes, I am your I will buy it. It's just gonna do it. Berries, Blooms, and Bugs. Now, I have been trying to be more mindful of the flower books I'm purchasing because while I love flowers, I don't color them very often. However, these were simple enough, plus mixed in with different types of bugs, that I thought these would be okay. She also has some really unique books that I don't see a lot of other people do, like this Go Slow, a Snail book. I mean, we don't see a lot of books about snails, but I love that. Don't normally like books with words, but this is okay. I saw a yellowfinch out there today. Actually saw him in two of my bird feeders. I don't know if it was the same one or a different one, and that made me so happy. Like, I instantly wanted to find a bird page and color him. Uncommonly cute animals. If they're like weirdly cute animals, fantasy animals, anything like that, I am game. But the uncommonly cute animals are cool because they're real. Venezuelan poodle moth. Now these I would probably color like they're supposed to be colored. A Poo-Too bird. Yummy puns. I did one in here that of course yellowed. Gosh, why? Just terrible. Woodland Wonder. Oh, that's from her other books. Is this two sets of 25 or 24? Might be. Yeah, because I was like, I feel like I've done that one. I think, wasn't that the Blue Foxes one that you did, Tammy, if you're watching this? Yeah, so it's two sets of 24 in that one. No, two more sets. Astrology Cats. This is one I would like to do as a year-long coloring. So you get kind of a page like this, and then you get a page like that. So what I would probably do is I would probably do the actual cat pages. I don't know if I would do both the first year, and then you get one like this, which is really cool too. Well, there's mine. Faces in the Forest. I think my friend Haley, who I haven't seen online in forever, got me this one. And then these two. So, oh, nope, let's show Very Scandy Christmas. I feel like these are relatively easy Christmas colorings. That's one of the reasons I got it. And then this was an example of taking an older book and making a new version of it. So Jen Racine had cosplay cats, which I had bought, and they are very cute. They're all within boxes though, which of course makes you want to fill out the boxes. And I have a lot of ideas for this book. I actually did this one in there, and then I did this one where I drew in my own little things around him. So I still want to keep this one. You see the glitter there. But she has since redrawn these, taken out the box to make them easier to color, and they are now Cats in Costumes, a Halloween coloring book. So if you're looking for this type of book, it's actually Cats in Costumes. I have done the first one in here. So they're essentially, she's updated them, she's made them a little bigger, a little easier to color. You can see kind of the difference there. She took out the border. I can get clever enough that I can color these different colors, so I'm going to keep both books, use the other one as more of a project book to try some different things in, and then this one will just be straight up doing like I did with the first page and just coloring. And oh, I think I was going to start on the bunny next, that's why that's in there. Just coloring them, adding a few little stencils in. And yeah. Alright, so ran a little long today, but that's okay. Yeah, so what I was going to say about the coloring book collection thing, it kind of comes down to any collection you have. So you may have things that you like to collect that aren't useful right now, or maybe they're just not useful, they're pretty to look at, and you're not really using them, or and you feel like, why do I have these, you know, and people may give you crap for it. Like, who cares? At the end of the day, as long as you're paying your bills and you're, you know, if if it's becoming an issue where you're not paying your bills and other things like that, definitely seek therapy, go get some help. But if it's one of those things where you're paying your bills and you're able, and your collections are stored nicely, and you're not up to your ears in boxes and things like that, where, you know, it might be a little different than that, than a typical just collecting thing, then, you know, don't sweat it. It's like those Kirby Rosanes books. I may not be in the place where I can color in them much now, but that may change in the future, and I want to keep them just in case, because this is the thing, books go out of print all the time, and that's one of the reasons I struggle so much with purchasing books. Even Amazon books, you know, we've seen Jade Summer take some out of print and things like that. So there's always a chance a book may go out of print, which makes it very difficult to hold off on buying them sometimes. So I don't want to risk his books going out of print. I know he is taking a break, a substantial break, from doing coloring books and stuff like that for a while. So and who knows what that means for the future. So that's part of the reason I hold on to those books. And the other part is they're just really good art. They're fun to look at. I am paying my bills and taking care of everything else. I am very much destashing. So I have room on my shelf for them. So why not? Like, there are just going to be some things, if you go through and declutter or destash or whatever, there are going to be some things that you look at and you're like, logic tells me, you know, for this reason and that reason, that I should get rid of this, but you know what, I just like it and I want to keep it, then do it. Like, it's fine. It's a lot of the books I'm destashing, they're books I bought early on that maybe I've changed how I color, and so I look at them and I'm like, I don't really want to, I know I'm not going to color in these. I like the art okay, but maybe I don't like it as much as I used to. My taste changed, and things like that. So if it's something I know I'm not going to color in, even if I have the time, then it's probably time to get rid of it. Unless it's just one of those pure collection, like unique, expensive books. And even those, like the Clara Markova books, speaking of which, I need to contact the person that said they were interested in them. Um, I have somebody that's interested in those, so, but, stupid fly. Even those, I'm like, I'm just, I'm not a huge fan of the art in them. And, oh my God, go. So I just don't, the art style just isn't my thing. Um, so I say that. So as I go through this, just keep that in mind when you're looking at things you collect or things, don't beat yourself up over stuff. Like, just, it's not that critical. There's enough going on in the world right now. The last thing we need to do is be mean to ourselves right now. The other thing I wanted to note is normally I do my watercolor summer picture on Wednesdays. That didn't happen this week. I had an offsite for work. I didn't have to travel for it, but it was still, I just didn't have time. I was pretty wore out by the time I logged off in the evening. So it is being processed though, and will be available on Sunday. We're going to move away from watercolor pencils for a while. Some of the things I hinted at about gelatos and treating the paper to make sure things blend and stuff like that, you're going to see it foreshadowing. You're going to see some of that Sunday. We're going to try a few techniques for putting the gelatos on the paper, treating the paper, and things like that. So if you're interested in that, the first part of it will be mostly demo, and then I might chat a little bit at the end about just what's been going on the last few weeks. Should have some new book flip-throughs by next Tuesday or Wednesday. Next weekend we'll finish out our main bookcase, alphabetized collection, and then go ahead starting the one-off books next week. One-off books will probably be an interesting destash exercise, I think, too. Then I did pick up a few things for Prime Day. Not a lot, because I wasn't real happy with it this year. And then I had some watercolors I had picked up anyway. So we might I might save the flip throughs and just do a book and supply haul next weekend. Like, go ahead and do that on Friday. So then Wednesday might be the night that I do the vacation recap, because I really got to do that. Because otherwise there's just not going to be any point to put it on here after waiting so long. So that might be what we do. We'll just do Friday. I'll combine it with a book haul, which will be the 3 new books I think I've picked up this week, and then including that Jade Summer book I showed you, and then showing you the new supplies I got. It'll be a relatively small video, but and then we'll do the book collection on Sunday. So kind of the plan for the next week. Just as a heads up, I shouldn't say it, because every time I say it, it never happens. But my plan is to do a Destash giveaway in August. At least one. There might be 2. I might do one in August and one in September. I have a number of books to give away, but I'm going to take and pull what I think we're going to do for a giveaway. I've had people ask for lists and stuff, and I would love to, but I just don't have the time to pull it all together. So I'm going to just pull the books that I think would do best in the giveaway, and then I'm just going to donate the rest to the local Cares place, just because they've got to go, and I've got to commit to that. But I also want to make sure I keep enough back for probably a couple giveaways, and that'll probably be the last big giveaway I do for a while, because this is, like I said, I've really destashed my collection this time, and It always changes every year. I always find stuff to, get rid of as I go through my collection, but this probably will be the last bigger one for a while. So just keep an eye out for that. If things continue to do okay, we'll say August and possibly September. My 7-year anniversary passed by on the channel, and I didn't even think I mentioned it. So, we might do something for that or something, hopefully. And then, of course, Watercolor Summer is still going on. As Tammy and Chris add Watercolor Summer videos, I will share those on the community pages. And yeah, I think that's about it in terms of announcements. And that's it for now. So if you want to see me demo and color, it's actually in a Camilla D'Errico book. It's my first picture in one of her books. I think it's the Mythical Magical Creatures or something. Definitely check that out. I think it turned out really pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it, even though things looked a little hairy to begin with. And we'll catch up Sunday. So thanks for watching, everybody, and bye for now.